my Disney Dream cruise series. Today's vlog is day 12 and day 13, so a day at sea and then leading into the morning that we got off the ship. I realised I forgot to film an intro, so we're starting off the day with the theme of the art show tour or something like that. It was a really good ship tour of the different Imagineering and artwork around the ship. So yeah, we're starting with that. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome. Get a little bit more intimate now. Now right here we have the entranceway to Remy. Now Remy is of course themed after a particular Disney Pixar movie. Does anyone know it? Ratatouille, exactly. Ratatouille. We love Ratatouille, and we love the little chef Remy, who wants to become a chef. And if you take a look in the restaurant, which we can't do right now, but if we were to go in, you would find there is a rat problem, okay? But don't worry, the health inspector is fully aware. Okay, there's a little glass Remy as you come on in, welcoming you to the restaurant. You also, has anyone been to Remy this cruise? No, is anyone going to go tonight? Fantastic, something for a future voyage then. Right over in the chairs, you'll find little hidden rats in the woodwork. You'll find them everywhere around the mirrors, in the paneling on the walls. There's literally rats everywhere. So that's sort of our storytelling, our Disney element. You won't find a hidden Mickey, but you'll find a hidden Remy, or 7,000. Right over here, the golden age of cruising is represented beautifully by this entranceway. Now back then in the day, the big art theme was Art Nouveau, and one of the big motifs of Art Nouveau was of course the glassware and the peacocks. So the peacock feathers right here, you can see them beautifully in the glass and also on the portholes as well. So take a little look, that's our little nod as you head on in. Now across these two restaurants there's over 900 bottles of wine, which is insane. They're all temperature controlled to particular styles of wine they have inside. Also inside you'll find some really fancy technology in terms of meat slicing and things like that, filled with the wonderful charcuterie you can get inside. And then right over here we have some very important wines, okay? Now I like to bring up these wines because not only do they have a storytelling element, $25,000 this bottle of wine right here. And yes, there was 4 bottles. Fun fact, there's now only 3 bottles. I know, yeah, somebody did in fact buy and wanted a taste of the Ratatouille story. Although I'm not sure it happened the way that you might think. You see, somebody ordered a bottle of the most expensive wine, and the rumor is that they had someone who wasn't fully aware of all of the procedures to go through in terms of selling a $25,000 bottle of wine before it got opened and enjoyed by the table, and then the table got the bill and they were like, why is the wine $25,000? And yeah, the rumor is they're still cleaning in the galley right now to pay off this bottle of wine. But no, they did sell it. I'm sure they probably set up some kind of payment plan or something. But this bottle of wine was drunk here on the Dream. Well, not this one, of course. That one still has wine in it, so I'm guessing it was its sister. And then right next to it, if you can't afford $25,000, don't worry. There's also another wine used in the movie Ratatouille. This one's just $18,000. Yeah, just so if you've not got the $25,000, don't worry. $18,000. If you open either of them this cruise, feel free to invite me. Now, I'm not allowed to drink in costume, but you know, I'm sure it'd be a fun way to say, hey, well, why did you get fined from your last job? I took a sip of $25,000 wine. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Palo. So as you come on in, we're now transported to a new place, a different country. If you take a little look around, can anyone guess where in the world we are? Venice, yes, Venice, Italy, absolutely. So as you come on in, the first clue we get is this beautiful hand-blown glass chandelier. It's actually designed to look like a particular type of food that you could enjoy in Italy. Can anyone guess? A little abstract. Maybe after a glass of wine in the evening you might see it more. It's made to look like spaghetti and meatballs. So you can see that Nice job. The spaghetti meatballs is beautiful, especially at night. It really lights up, and you can pose like this or like this, and they're both very cute. So I recommend it definitely at night to come and take a picture. The next clue you get is this wonderful carpet right here. Now this isn't spaghetti. This is actually designed to be the canals of Venice. So I'm so sorry, you're all getting your feet a little bit wet, okay? But the canals of Venice right here. It's of course abstract. And then as you come on in, we have the gondolas right here, and these beautiful wine fridges. Now the clue comes in the name with Palo. Palo actually translates to the word pole. Now why pole? Well, firstly, they wanted something that was Italian, that remind people of Venice. And the gondola is a mode of transportation in Venice, and the gondoliers would use a gondola pole to be able to take their guests around the canals. Now, why just pole? Well, number one, it sounds great. Palo sounds great. But number two, we have a lot of different nationalities working on board, and there is over 66 different nationalities right now. I'm sure Peter can give you the exact quotes because he's very good at that. When he does his final speech tonight, he'll tell you a lot about all the crew on board. But yes, so many different nationalities that Palo is a word that can sound good in pretty much any accent, and so therefore, even though I think it sounds better in the Italian accent, Palo was the name they decided on. And you can see the wonderful gondola poles here on the outside of the wine cabinets, and inside each wine bottle is in its own little handcrafted gondola. So this is one of our modern elements again. You'll see the temperatures are actually different depending on which wine is inside. Our tables right here are a little bit lower than the tables right here, and the booths are a little bit raised so that if you're sitting here you can see over the heads of the diners here. And then right over here you've got these tables right up here that are also a little bit higher because of the raised platform, and then these ones again, the booths and the tables are planned to be a little higher so that wherever you are in the restaurant you have this beautiful view, you have Balin's vision, you have that luxury at sea. Also, if we'd have gone into Remy, you'd have noticed that it's a little smaller than this side in Palo. Now the way they trick you into thinking this restaurant is smaller than it actually is actually done with the fabric. And if you take a look here at the chairs, the fabric is a different fabric to this fabric in the booths, which is a different fabric to these chairs, even a different design of chairs, and again, same to the booths right here. It's not because we're on a ship and we run out of fabrics, it's actually a little subconscious trick in your mind to make you think that, oh, you know, you're sort of taking in your senses around you and the things that look familiar, and you're sort of naturally blocking out things that look different. So you're staying in your little enclosed zone right there, and that's a way to make it feel a little bit more intimate.
In the clouds.
It is in the clouds, absolutely. So right here, you'll see Mickey's head and two little ears. You have to spin a little bit sideways, but you do see a little Mickey cloud. Now whether or not this is an official hidden Mickey, it's by far one of my favorite hidden Mickeys. If anyone has been or goes into Remy, you'll see the frame of the mirrors in Remy. So we've tied in the carpet from Palo, the mirrors from Remy, and you are transported to those places. Also, right down here, to let you know that you're going to Remy's restaurant, we have Remy himself looking into Gusteau's restaurant. And one of the things I love about this artwork is that it actually gives you a sense of perspective on where we are on the ship, because we are up on deck 12, and in this part of the ship specifically we don't have any windows to tell us, but this portrait does a very good job of letting us know we are at a higher perspective. The idea is, in the morning, where are you going to go? Cabanas for breakfast, right? Up on deck 11. So if you're leaving your stateroom on deck 5, deck 6, you're going to be coming on this way and sort of awakening your senses, okay? You're not going to be quite awake just yet, and they thought about that. So they didn't want you to be hit by the full color pictures as you come on up. But then slowly as you go on up, you saw those ones I said I like the Dumbo ones that have just a little bit of color, but they're more sketchy. And then of course you have a bit further up the Alice in Wonderland. Now they've got a lot more color, but they're a little bit less detailed. So they were a bit more like sort of abstract concept art. And then finally you get that full color, fully detailed portraits of Donald making breakfast. So by the time you get to see those portraits, you kind of can already smell the coffee and the Mickey waffles, and you're like ready to be awake for the day. So that's right up there, and that's the idea, is that they wanted you to go through that transition as you head on up the stairs. Now right here on deck number 5, you'll also notice one big thing is that I can touch the ceiling. I couldn't do that on deck 12. Now there's a couple of reasons for this. The first one is that down here in the ocean, we have the Oceaneer Lab, which is all nautical themed, and the Oceaneer Club. Further down you have It's a Small One Nursery, themed after that fabulous ride. And then as you head on down, right to the front, you have Vibe. Vibe have their own little pool deck things there too. So this level is really sort of to help the kids feel a little bit more included in the space, especially in Andy's room. I think the ceiling height works really well because the toys are blown up, so you feel like you're a toy out there in the room. Now right over here, we have what we call the enchanted artworks. Spoiler of the magic, they're TV screens. Wow, but no, we did have 22 artworks. There's now only 21. I'll tell you about the 22nd when we get to deck 4. But right over here, I do like this one. It's a scene from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and it's a scene where the battlements, you know, they're shooting at each. Normally you'll go on the boat and the cannons are going off either side of you. But it does look similar to the portraits over here. Hard to kind of tell at first glance which ones are TV screens and which ones are not, because there's a little trick. Now you see how this portrait naturally has like a shadow along the top of the portrait, just right here. Well, of course, TV screens are not going to have that. So what they did was they digitally inputted a little shadow on the top section so that you can be more surprised once the portraits come, oh there we go, come to life. Now we've entered the District Lounge. The District is themed after sort of an LA nightclub scene. How do I know we're in LA? Well, take a look at the portrait you saw as you come on up from the Animator's Palate restaurant. You'll see the Chinese theatre. So that's another way that it's bringing you into the location of where you are. Hello. And right over here behind the red velvet, you actually have other silhouettes of our celebrities, and of course in the mirrors right here, they are the you're the celebrities here. And right over here we have the paparazzi in the mirrored walls as well. Now fun fact, these paparazzi actually used to flash little lights as you walked on past. They were triggered by sensors, and the paparazzi would make you feel like a celebrity. However, they had to turn off this function, not because the flashes were too bright, but because they had a lot of complaints. Now the complaints came not from the flashes themselves, but came from the end of a cruise when there would be a long line of people up at Shutter's photography booth asking to see the pictures that the paparazzi in the walls took. Oh gosh. Now the paparazzi were never actually taking pictures, and I heard from the crew here, it was always fun to stop people in their fancy outfits waiting for the flash, and then they'd complain that they didn't have their pictures of the paparazzi in the walls. So they did disable it. When they reopened the ship, like I say, I reopened the Fantasy in 2021, but when they reopened the ship, what they found was that when they reset everything, there you're all good, they reset and they found that the photographers came back on and they flashed all of the crew members that were walking past setting up the ship until they called the person that disabled it in the first place, because they couldn't work out how to just singly disable this one part of the technology. So they called who did it in the first place and they got the job done. Now right over here we have Skyline. I did tell you up in Meridian you could drink around the world just by moving seats. Well, in Skyline you don't have to move seats. Tinkerbell magically sprinkles pixie dust every 15 minutes and the Skyline changes to somewhere new. There's about 8 different places. Just go in and I challenge to see if you can name them all and find out where in the world you are. The service will know if you're not sure. And you can also ask them, they'll come up with a fun themed drink for whichever place you're in. So just say, hey, we're in Paris now, what do you think I should have? They're really good at that, so enjoy Skyline. Right over here we have Evolution. It's themed after the evolution of a butterfly. Now, no official Disney story here, no hidden Mickeys as far as I'm aware, but what I do like to think of in my own head is that if anyone's seen A Bug's Life, you know Heimlich, he wants to be a beautiful butterfly. Well, let's say he achieved his dream and now he lives on the ceiling of Evolution, so go say hi to Heimlich when you're in there. What we're going to do is we're going to head around this way past pub 687, and we're going to pause just past Pink, but the entrance on the other side, because I prefer it to this side. So before we were known as the Disney Dream, we actually were ship 687 that was built in the shipyard in Papenburg, Germany. So we were the 687th ship built there, so that's why it's a little nod to the history of the ship. And if you head on in, you'll see pictures of the making of the Dream, and also a replica keel coin behind the door. So go and check that out whenever you get a chance. Also, I said I like to look at Pink from this angle, purely because I'm a musical theatre nerd. Now, if anyone's a fan of Wicked, you'll know that there's a line where Elphaba says, we can't all colour go by bubble. Well, here at Pink, you can come and go by bubble. There's a bubble right here at the entrance. You head on in, and there's a little pink elephant. It's themed after the pink elephants in Dumbo. Now, how do I know that they're always going to have champagne. Well, an elephant never forgets. And if you take a look at the archway we walked through, you'll see the head of an elephant and an elephant trunk in the LED lights, and it's always spewing champagne with the bubbles that are flying into the champagne lounge peak. So that's my fun little hidden elephant, if you will, in the room. There's also a hidden elephant that jumps around the bubbles in pink too. Alright, we're going to start making our way to our final destination. The jewelry store right there, to take a look at the blue behind the glass. Did anyone recognize a particular type of blue? It was Tiffany blue. Does anyone remember Tiffany's? Yeah, Tiffany, they're still going. But they used to have a 10-year lease with the Disney Dream to have a Tiffany store on board. Of course, the ship was built in 2011, so that lease ran out in 2021, and that's when we put in carriage jewels, although we did have, keep the blue behind the glass as a little nod to history. Also, that's where our 22nd artwork was actually placed. It was the mini Lisa, and to her eyes would follow you around the jewellery store to make sure that you were not stealing any of the jewels. So I hope that makes a return in the future, but it was a wonderful, wonderful mini Elisa. And then of course here the Atrium. Why end in the Atrium? Well, Winston Churchill always said there was a soul of the ship, and here I believe this is the soul of the Disney Dream. Now, not just because it's a fancy room, but yes, you pointed it out. Actually, if you take a look at the gold trim, I think this sums up the soul for me. Because right here you see Mickey and Minnie, they're together just like they are on the balcony. You've got Huey, Dewey and Louie getting ready for private night. You have Max and Goofy, they're looking to go for a round of golf on Goofy's sports deck. Daisy's just on a sun lounge living her best life, and Donald is about to go on the aqueduct, quite fittingly. And who else does all these things on board? You do, yes, absolutely, our guests. Now, of course, you could say the soul of the ship, you know, is the keel or the hair or the heart, but I think the soul of the ship is actually you, our guests, coming on board each and every cruise. Because, like I say, I spent some time on board when we had no guests, and I felt like Lumiere when he sings, "Bringing us, we've been rusting," and it really is true. Like that little montage, the little moment he has, was very, very reminiscent in that time when we had no guests on board, because you really are the soul of the ship. Here in this beautiful atrium, but there was a reason, again I said a second reason for the deck 5 being a little bit shorter, and it is of course forced perspective. If you've ever heard anything about the parks, you may know that the bricks in the buildings and the windows on the castle, they're all a little smaller the higher up you get. And that is to make it feel like it's bigger than it actually is. So that's why we like you to enter from deck 3 on our largest deck. Then deck 4 is a little bit bigger, and then a little bit smaller, and then of course deck 5 is the smallest. So that when you come in and you're greeted by this gorgeous chandelier with over 88,000 Swarovski crystals, you go, wow, it's so big. It's a trick, okay? It's not that big, but it is pretty impressive. If you've ever been on the classic ships, you'll know that this is a pretty big atrium. Now, let's finish up my stories here and talk about some of the. Has anyone heard the stories of the paint colors on the outside of the ship? Fantastic. Well, of course, as I said right at the beginning, we didn't want to create a fleet of floating milk cartons. So instead, Disney decided that they were going to have the colors of a very famous Disney character on the outside. Can anyone guess who?
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse, exactly. We have the little red funnels as his shorts. Now, fun fact, we don't actually need 2 funnels to function. Most modern cruise ships just need 1. But what we do have is we have the kids club, one of the kids clubs hidden up their edge, and so that's going to be in there, and they're great because they have access to the ice cream on deck 11. They just run up and down the stairs. But that's in Mickey's sort of short red. Out in the lifeboats we have a particular type of yellow. It's Panto 99 yellow, or more commonly known as Mickey shoe yellow. Now, when Disney were first creating a cruise line, they said, we want yellow lifeboats. The Coast Guard said, no, I'm sorry, we can't have yellow lifeboats. We've only got the paperwork approved for white and orange lifeboats. And Disney said, what will it cost? What will it cost to get the paperwork? And so Disney paid for the testing for the Coast Guard to prove that yellow was just as visible at sea as orange or white. And all the testing passed, it all went well, but now because of Disney's generosity, well, I say generosity, it was more them just really wanting the color yellow, now any other cruise line in the world can use the color yellow when they're using the US Coast Guard laws. They can input yellow lifeboats into their fleet as well. Not to mention any Royal Caribbean. They also have yellow lifeboats, so you'll find them when you come into port, and you'll see other ships with us. There are other ships, just know that Disney did it first. And right over here, the yellow lifeboats, and then we're going to move down to the fur of Mickey Mouse. Now the fur of Mickey Mouse, of course, is black. On the outside of the ship, though, you'll notice that the hull is not quite black. Maybe it's because it was going to be too reminiscent of the Titanic, I don't know. But they decided to go for a really, really deep blue instead. So when they were deciding on the blue, I can imagine the story goes like this. This is my story interpretation. So they're in the board meeting, they're looking at swatch after swatch after swatch after swatch of like dark blue paint. And then a woman comes in. Her name is Monica. She's impeccably dressed, she's got high heels on, maybe she's got an iced coffee, maybe it's a martini, you can decide, okay? But she struts in to it. Everyone says, stop, Monica, we need your pants. And Monica was like, excuse me? Now, I'm from the UK, so pants means something a little bit different. But what I'm talking about is the navy slacks she had on. She had the perfect shade of blue navy slacks. And those were the shade that they decided they wanted the paint color of. So what they did was they took Monica's pants and they sent them to the paint company and created the paint which will now forever be known as Monica Blue. Now, you may think this is a fun little story I thought about to end. Well, actually, my friend Kajori was giving this tour back in 2018 and she said she didn't know if it was true, but she told the story anyway. And someone in the crowd says, oh, I know the story's true. And Kajori goes, how do you know? And she said, I'm Monica. Yeah, exactly. And so she and Monica was taking her tour, and so Kajori got to ask the question that everyone wanted to know, and that is, what did she ever get her pants back? No. Apparently she did never get her pants back, but she's really happy to have a paint color on a ship named after her, so I mean, you know, worth the sacrifice of a pair of pants. Yeah, so right there, that's the colors of the ship. Now I'll leave you with one final story, and that is working for the Disney company. We always get asked, what do you think Walt Disney would think of everything? Of course, Walt Disney was never around to see the creation of Disney Cruise Line, so I think Michael Eisner best summed it up when he said this. To be on the deck of a great ship, looking up at a sky full of stars is probably as close to as magic as we can get. And he says he didn't know if Walt Disney would have envisioned such a prospect for the company that he founded, but he liked to believe he did. And I think it's true. I've shown you so many things. I've talked about a chandelier and carpets and paintings, but actually being surrounded by your loved ones on the deck of a beautiful ship is really as close to magic as we can get. Thank you so much for joining me on this tour. My name is Jessica. Thank you. I love your shoes. Alright, you want to look right over here?
Okay, my friends, the three.
Thank you.
So we are back from our what was it called? Art of the Theme show tour. So it was a tour just for adults. There was a very small group of us. There was only 6 people, 7 people, around 7ish. We started, it was at 9 o'clock, 9:15, one of the two. We started up in the Meridian Lounge and we had a look in Palo's and Remy, and then we walked a little bit around the ship, and yeah, got told about the Imagineering and all little design facts, and yeah, it was just really, really interesting. We had Jessica, who is one of the entertainment team. She is from England, not that far from where we live actually, and she was lovely. But yeah, it was really, really interesting, so I really recommend that if you're coming on one of the cruises and it's available. Oh, and then we've met Mickey and Captain Mickey and Minnie. It was meant to be up on deck 12, but it's quite windy today, so they did it on the balcony instead, but that was fun. And yeah, we've just been packing our room up, which is very sad, trying to get everything into our suitcases, which has been a bit of a job. Got given these luggage tags. Tomorrow, once we're docked in Southampton, I take it they read it out in groups. So we're light blue Donald, so we have to put your suitcases out before 10 o'clock tonight, so we'll do that before we go out for dinner, and then they take them off the ship for you, and then when your group is called tomorrow after you've had breakfast, yeah, you get off the ship and then you go to where your sign is and pick up your luggage. I'll be able to explain it better tomorrow once we've done it and know how it works, but that is the gist of it. but we're gonna go and grab some coffee and have a little walk around the ship one final time. And we're also gonna go and meet Donald, and I'm hoping it's Sailor Donald because I've got my outfit and my ears ready, and he's the only character we haven't met yet, so we're hoping that's him. But that's at 5, and then we've also got the Believe show 6:15 in the Walt Disney Theatre, and then our last dinner is at Animator's Palate later tonight. I got the chocolate covered strawberries from Vanellope's. These were $3.50, I think. So you get 3 strawberries and a little cookie. So we are back in the room now. We sat up in the sunshine with a coffee at, what was it called? Satellite Falls, which is the adults only section on deck 12 or 13.
13, isn't it?
It must be 13, wasn't it? Because it's the highest you can go. And that was really nice. And then we had some pizza at Flo's and picked up a few bits to take home from Vanellope's. But now we're just going to sort out our gratuities, or the tips. Last night we had these envelopes delivered because we prepaid our gratuities. They've given us a little sheet of paper which you can tear off what they automatically split up the gratuities for your server, assistant server, head server and stateroom host, and then you can put them in here so you can personally give them to them. You can also add in extra in these envelopes if you want to. Obviously it is entirely your choice, but yeah, the prepaid gratuities are on, they're like perforated, so you can just rip them off and stick them in the envelope and then hand them to them. So we're going to fill those out now, ready to give to our servers tonight.
Wearing matching stripes for the last day. That's fantastic. A sailor after leaving on Mars. Call it Sears. Alright, shall we look at Goofy's camera? That's fine. Now Goofy, give us a wave over this direction. Very nice.
But she's got a bow on the ear, so that's okay. That counts. Alright, right over here, Tabitha.
Get ready to up, my friends. Ready to right.
So we are all packed and ready to go now, ready to put our suitcases out this evening. Just about squeezed everything in. But we are now ready to go and watch Disney's Believe, which is one of the original Broadway style shows. I have no idea what it's about, but I'm hoping it will be a good one. So we're going to go and try and sit in the same seats we've sat in, which has been on deck 4, the balcony, right at the back, because it means you can see everything. So yeah, hopefully it'll be good. That and the elephant, I think. Yeah. Crab and the elephant have been my favourites. So we have just come back from watching Disney's Believe. I really enjoyed it. It was really cool. It was like a storyline of a dad and a daughter, and the dad didn't believe in magic, and then the genie appears and takes him through all these different characters and ways of teaching him to believe in magic. And yeah, it was lovely. Loads of different characters in it and songs, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. The genie was really, really funny. He was so good. But now we're gonna head to, oh, we just met Ariel on the way out as well, and she was lovely. Now we're gonna head to Pink, which is a wine and champagne bar, as we haven't been there yet. So we're gonna go and have a drink before dinner at Animator's Palate. I'm not sure how busy Pink is gonna be, but I will try and film a little bit to show you what it's like. And yeah, then it's our last dinner at Animator's Palate.
Like one falls out, then we will do this, but if it's set
These are just what I need to whip up a little animation magic. I'll be back later, but right now, we invite you to sit back and relax as the dining room proudly presents
your dinner. Be our guest. Be our guest. Put our service to the test. Tie your napkin around your neck, Sherry, and we provide the rest. Soup du jour, hot or cold, why we all try the gray stuff. It's delicious. Don't believe me? Ask the king.
Thanks, everybody. See y'all real soon.
The heart of the beautiful Disney dream on this, our final night together. What a cruise it's been! Who's had the best time ever? Well, we certainly hope you've made memories that will last a lifetime, and thank you for becoming part of our family here at sea for the last 12 nights. Although I just had a chat with Captain Mickey Mouse, and he would like to see you one last time, and I said, I'm not sure if our guests want to, I'll come and ask. Would you like to see Captain Mickey one more time? You said that, so I said, no problem, Captain, go off, get some of your pals, and come back in a couple of moments. So let me explain how this is going to work. In just a few minutes' time, Captain Mickey, some pals, and some of our royalty will make their way down the grand staircase and spread out across deck 3. They'll only be out for about 15 minutes' time for your last chance for that photograph or autograph. And if you've not yet met them over the last 12 nights, where have you been, honestly? So I know this will be your last chance to give them that hug and a farewell. Then after around 15 minutes time, we invite them to the staircase and the marble for a final farewell moment, not to be missed. So let me ask, would you like to see beautiful. One more time, it's Cinderella. She's put a box down in the library. Let's hear it for the beautiful Belle. And tonight, she's come all the way from the bayou to say hi you. Let's hear it from Princess Tiana. You're going to keep your balls going for our favourite pup. Let's hear it, it's Palo. And now we're going to bring this as we give it up for Goofy. The most beautiful diva on the high seas. That's right, make some noise for Daisy Duck. And let's get chanting. Number one, number one, number one, number one. Let's give it up for Double Duck. Oh, we're now going to go nuts. Here they are. Here comes trouble. And of course, there are two of our amazing captains here on board. Let's make some noise. Raise the roof. It's Captain Mickey. So that quick reminder, they're going to be around deck 3 for just 15 minutes time. And at the end of that, a final farewell moment, not to be missed. Enjoy, everyone.
I would say good morning, but we are leaving the ship, so it is not a good morning. We have just had breakfast at Animator's Palate. I had pancakes, which are really good, and said goodbye to our servers. Now our luggage tag has been called and we are ready to get off. We are obviously back in Southampton. I just wanted to talk through a little bit about the checkout process. I obviously didn't film much the final morning because it was a bit of a rush. I think you had to be out of your room by 8 o'clock. I can't remember the actual timings, but you got designated a breakfast time based on your dinner time. So I think ours was the later breakfast sitting, and we were at Animator's Palate, so breakfast is normally where you were for dinner before. I can't say I was a massive fan on how they do breakfast. I think Cabana's is open, but I probably would, if I did it again, go to Cabana's if it is open. It was very rushed. The menu wasn't particularly great. I know it is the last morning, but it just didn't feel as like personable as dinner normally does. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe we just had a bit of a off day, but yeah, it wasn't the like relaxing last breakfast that we were particularly hoping for, but it was still really nice food. I had the pancakes and they were really, really good. And it was obviously a nice chance to say goodbye to our servers. But yeah, it wasn't particularly great compared to how like all the dinners had been. But then we'd never done, you can do a table service breakfast on most days, I think, or it might be days at sea. So I don't know what it's like on a usual basis, but yeah, it wasn't great, but we got off pretty quickly. You then have like a speaker saying the different luggage tags, and we waited for ours to be called. Ours was actually called while we were eating breakfast, so as soon as we ate breakfast we got off the ship. I just wanted to say a big thank you for watching and following along with this vlog series. My first ever Disney cruise, hopefully not my last. The Disney Dream was absolutely beautiful ship. Norway and Iceland were amazing. We obviously had that change of itinerary and went to Liverpool instead. If you haven't seen the previous videos to this one, I will leave the link to the playlist of all the vlogs down below. But yeah, thank you guys for your support on these videos. It's been so much fun editing them for you to watch. And next week's video should be a haul video from, or will be, a haul video from everything I bought while on the Disney Dream and in Norway and Iceland. So that'll be coming next Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week with the haul video.